Hey fellas, today we're gonna get into a real problem with 99% of diets, why the fitness industry is kind of fucked. And I want to talk about the real reasons why diets fail. When people simply try to restrict calories, restrict carbs, restrict anything, just that old mindset of just eat less, move more. It might sound good in theory, but I'll try to explain why a lot of that is flawed, broken. Let's call most diets what they actually are. Just another way of restricting calories. Most people just trying to eat less, move more because we've all been told that's what we need to do. And this gets easier to understand when you understand the science of how calories are measured and that they're actually measured through a thermic measure. And that's not how the body works. The body's an open system. So trying to determine your exact calorie intake is mostly bullshit because your body burns and uses energy drastically different on a daily basis, depending on a number of things, from how you slept the night before, to your environment, to your stress levels, to what you're doing, what kind of workouts you're doing, all of it. The old eat less, move more ideology is fundamentally broken. It's just not the way to go. Calorie restriction really just means energy restriction, which means that you're going to try and stop eating before you're satiated, before you're completely full. And here's where it gets really interesting, because biologically, every single mammal on the planet, every single animal, hardwired to not do that. It goes completely against our programming. And if you trap an animal, a mammal, and limit its food intake, don't allow it to eat until it's full, aka restrict its diet, those animals will only have one thing on their mind. Their only priority and concern is to find more food. And you know, if that animal isn't given access to any other food, it's going to either try and escape to find more food, or it will commit suicide in one way or another, which is actually what happens in a lot of zoos when they don't have enough food to feed the animals. It's literal torture to any mammal to only be given a small amount of food and not be able to eat until it's full, satiated. That's just not how we're hardwired. No mammal on Earth, including humans, will stop eating before it's full naturally. Never in a million years would a lion take down a gazelle and stop eating it before it's full and, save some for later. Yet this is essentially what humans try and do with our diets all the time. So attempting to limit food and stop eating before your body tells you to stop eating won't work, because it's just not how we work. It can't work. That's not how a million years of evolution has designed us to work. Now, while humans have this big old prefrontal cortex that other animals don't have, allows us to reason, think about things differently, on a primal level, we're still wired the same way as every other mammal. And that is to eat until we're satiated, which is why in your stacked meal plan, your meals are large. You're probably only eating 3 times a day. You might have a snack after workout or post-workout shake or something, but the meals are big, which is why what you eat is so important. And it's a key focus of the stacked diet and all my plans, because modern processed food that we've all been told, like the grocery stores are full of it. It's 80% of the grocery store. And it's been engineered to trick the brain, to trigger the reward center and keep us eating way past. But when you remove a lot of that food and eat what humans are meant to eat, that problem goes away. On your typical restricted diet, your brain and your hormones are saying, dude, you're not full. Why are you stopping eating? We must have limited access to food, limited resources. And then, like I said, the body shifts into a state where you don't want to be. And then hormonal signals start going out to give you unnatural cravings, until eventually, no matter how disciplined you are, you raid the pantry in a moment of weakness or when willpower is low, and you eat anything and everything, which we've all been on diets where that happens. And we chalk it up to us being just not disciplined enough. But really, there's a reason for it. It's because our bodies, our hormones, are fighting back. And pretty well every single diet plan you've probably seen, you've been fed, you've been told to follow, is based on a lot of these underlying issues, never really addressing the root problem, which is getting your metabolism working better, getting hormones working as they're supposed to. And because of that, it's going to fail every single time. You might be able to fight nature, fight things short term. Your discipline and willpower can triumph for a little while, but evolutionary systems will always win out in the long run. And the end result of this is exactly what we've got. A population full of people who are overweight and obese. People who are running around trying every single diet known to man, all based around the same eat less, move more theory, thinking to themselves that they can just get in shape or make anything last if they try hard enough or if they have enough discipline. But in reality, they're trying to adhere to something that is an anti-scientific strategy that can never last, no matter how much discipline you have. But on your typical diet, when you eat less and move more, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to get fucking hungrier because your body needs more energy to fuel your body that's working more, working harder. It's not rocket science. Let's just keep restricting food. Every single week calories go down until the scale moves again. It doesn't work. Let's just keep eating a bunch of nutrient empty health foods. It won't cut it. And working your ass off at the gym, getting on a treadmill for hours every week won't cut it either if you're missing the core pieces, the staples, which is food, choice, eating the right things at the right times. Plenty of it. And it's exactly why we see so many transformations in the fitness industry. You see the transformations on Instagram and social media, but you don't see what happens 6 months or a year later. I do. Most of them completely reverse 6 months or a year after the initial results happened because shit wasn't built on solid foundation. It was built on the old principles, old thinking, and it blows up in people's faces every time and they wonder what went wrong. This is especially true with low-carb, keto-style programs. Since every 1 gram of carbohydrates you eat, your body hoards 4 grams of water to help store the energy in a form of glycogen. It means with any diet where you just cut out carbs abruptly, you're going to see a massive water drop as your body depletes that stored carb glycogen, and there's no need for that water anymore. Like I said, it's 4 grams of water every 1 gram of carbs. That's a lot of extra water. The result is here, you get a ton of weight loss that's not actually fat being lost. It's mainly just a huge jump of water, like I said, being depleted from muscles, which usually just leads guys to weigh less on the scale, but looking worse in the mirror. Skinny fat, like they start looking like a pop balloon or a soggy diaper. Not better, worse. And a lot of diets I see people following, they have perfect balanced macros, but they're centered around all the wrong foods and the wrong food timing. They don't have the sufficient nutrients that guys actually need to fuel the body. And when your body doesn't get what it needs or feels overly restricted or low carb for long periods, again, it starts sending out the wrong signals and people are trying to deprive themselves to results. The average doctor, trainer still thinks the solution to getting healthy or losing weight is less calories and more movement, which isn't really the answer. It's a half-assed way to look at it. And I'd argue that number one, it's not a calorie problem as much as it's a food choice problem. We're taught to eat the wrong shit. And number two, people aren't as overweight as they are under-muscled. And if we focus more on adding lean quality muscle mass, the weight problem would fuck off and fix itself. When we eat more of the right stuff, 90% of the overeating and the unnatural cravings, it goes away. When we fix the nutrient deficiency problem and the body can start actually utilizing food like it's supposed to, it starts working like it's supposed to. So simply focusing on the OG superfoods, prioritizing animal-based eating like I've done with your program, getting plenty of high-quality proteins, animal fats, things like whole eggs, grass-fed beef, unpasteurized cheese, organic grass-fed butter, plenty of honey, fruit. We can fix a lot of the old problems by actually eating more, not less. And then when we mix in some smart, strategic cheat foods like we do on Carb Backload Day as healthy stressors and some strategic fasting windows, we can really begin to optimize things and get the body working like it hasn't in a long time. And you should see unnatural cravings go away. Your desire to binge will probably go away. Gut digestion gets better. Those problems disappear. But more than anything, metabolism can actually improve and get better, not get worse like it does with most calorie restricted diets. And you don't need to worry about going out and enjoying yourself one night a week, waking up 5 pounds heavier. And the only way to do that is by focusing on lean muscle and actually improving your metabolism instead of crippling it. When you're satiated and you're eating enough of the right foods, right times, your body begins working for you to burn fat rather than wanting to store it constantly. So that's what it's about. Hope this made some sense for you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Hope things are going well with the program. If you have any questions, as always, just reach out. Don't hesitate.